Hello everyone, I am Mukund Ramprasad Soni. I am student of Arihant College of Education under Savitribai Phule University, Pune. The content in this video is on Maharashtra Board, that is SSC Maharashtra Board of grade 9th, subject Mathematics, Unit 2nd Real Numbers, Subunit Surds. Instructions given below you may find useful while watching this video. During this video, several questions will be asked. You can pause the video to answer each question, and you can resume it once you are sure with your answer or to check your correct answer. Also keep your textbook and notebook with yourself so that you can note down the notes, the question answers, and also you can practice during watching this video. Following these instructions will enhance your experience of watching this video and will definitely help you to increase your understanding in the topic which is getting delivered through this video.
What do you must know before you watch this video? There are few things which you must know before you watch this video, such as prime factorization of surds, simplifying surds, then multiplication and division of rational numbers, and like surds and unlike surds. If you know this all, then it will be very easy to you to understand this video. Now let's recall your knowledge from previous videos and previous grade. There are few questions, answer them. True or false? Square root of 125 and 3 times the root of 80 are like surds. To find out are they like surds or not, you need to simplify them. And the answer is true. They are like surds. Now, if you couldn't get it, try another one. Simplify the equation on the screen. Root 2 upon 3 minus root 2 upon 2. On simplifying this, you will find the result as negative root 2 divided by 6. You can pause the video to try out each of this sum and cross-check your answer as given in video. Try next question. Simplify 8 over 5 times 7 over 6. Keep in mind the multiplication concept of rational numbers and follow them carefully to find the answer. Your answer will be 28 upon 15. I hope you know these all things and you get the answer for these all questions. What are we going to learn today? Today I am going to represent through this video the next content of the surds, that is operation on surds, such as multiplication, dividing the surds, and also how to rationalize the surds. Each of this concept is quite important and useful. Pay attention carefully.
So students, let's begin with multiplying surds. We are going to multiply surds with each other. Now, as we all know, surds are irrational number, and irrational number as cannot be written in a p by q form. So the multiplication of surds is not going to be as same as of rational numbers. Hence, observe carefully how do we do multiplication of surds. Let's begin with few examples. Observe carefully. When you multiply two terms, how do you do? Think, how do you multiply any given two terms? You simply separate the coefficients, that is numerical coefficients, and variables from each other. So you bring the variables together like x and y. Alphabets are always taken as a variable, and then numbers such as 7 and 2 together. Then we perform a regular multiplication process. 7 2s are 14, and x into y will be simply x, y, as we don't know the value of x and y. Now observe an example for multiplication of surds. Say for an example, square root of 5 is going to be multiplied with square root of 3. For multiplying the surds, first rule you have to keep in mind that the order of the surd must be same. The order of the surds must be same. Radicands may be different or same. Then we simply multiply the radicands with each other as we had multiplied the variables with each other in earlier case. In the same way, we are going to multiply radicands with each other under same root, that is quadratic root, or one can say square root, and your answer will be under root of 15. Let's have one more example. Say 2 root 3 is getting multiplied with 4 under root 7. Then compare these two and think rationally. Means divide the given equation in some simple parts like we did earlier here. In the same way do here, and you shall find your answer. So what is going to happen now? The rational numbers, that means the numbers outside the roots, will get multiplied with each other, whereas the numbers inside the root, that is 3, root 3 and root 7, will be multiplied with each other. So 2 4s are 8, and that will be in a multiplication with 3 times 7. As I said earlier, surds will multiply to surds only. 8 which shall remain as it is, and 3 into 7 will become 21. This multiplication sign you can draw, or in this case even if you don't draw, still it means 8 is in a multiplication with root 21. I am using different colors in order to enhance your understanding through these examples. But in exam, you may need to follow single color. Different colors makes it more attractive, makes our life more beautiful. In the very same way, as there are different colors, there are people with a different nature. And you may find few natures are like in a certain way, others not. But living with all of them together makes our life more livable place on earth and enjoyable as well. So be honest, be empathy towards others. Let's have another example. Say 3 root 11 is multiplying with 2 root 11. Now, very simple rule. You can memorize it in a two way. First way is rational number multiplies to rational number, that is 3 and 2 because they don't have surds, and irrational numbers such as root 11 will multiply to root 11. So here I will simply write 3 2s are, and then we will write root 11 times root 11. Then 3 2s are 6, and then you will put 11 times 11. Now can you find out the answer for the last step? So here we are not going to multiply 11 with 11. Rather, we will use a simple idea that as it is a square root, from the given common factors, we should choose one factor as its solution. So your answer will be simply 11 here. Then your final answer will be 66. So do you see, students? Even though 3 root 11 and 2 root 11 are irrational numbers, but product of irrational number can be a rational number or can also be a irrational number. Don't forget to simplify if there is a simplification expected at certain places. Now let's have one more example. You can pause the video to solve this example by yourself, or else you can keep watching. Negative 2 root 50 times 7 root 2.
Now think carefully. As we all know, whenever there is a multiplication with the sign, we follow few separate sets of rules. In those separate sets of rules, we observe the sign given to the numbers. There is one simplest way to keep this in mind. You shall keep in mind like when like terms multiplies and unlike terms multiplies. So when the like sign multiplies to each other, you get positive as a result. Both must be like, then answer will be positive. If signs are unlike, they are not same, then answer will be negative. So you just need to observe whether the signs are same or different. As there are different signs like positive and negative. So that makes our calculation more concentratedly solvable. Else missing the sign can easily take away the marks as well as the answer. You see, even if these terms are like terms, they can multiply with each other. But even if terms are not like this example, root 2 into negative 2 times 7. As we don't have enough space, I am going to utilize next line here, but we must write it in the same line like this way. Root 50 times root 2. Negative 14 times root of 50 times 2. Even if they are like terms or even if they are unlike terms, still you can multiply the surds with each other. So like and unlike term rule is only applicable if you are solving addition and subtraction kind of operation for surds. Then we perform usual multiplication, no differences. Now let's try out few examples from our practice set. To the practice set, I am writing it in short PS. PS stands for practice set. We will solve few examples from practice set 2.3. From practice set 2.3, I am going to solve question number 7, which asks us to multiply the given surds. Question number 7. In the first example, 3 root 12 times root 18. Now multiply them with each other. So 3 will be multiplied with what? Is there any number here? If not, you can have 1, or else if you don't use this time anything, then also it is okay. That means now we just have to multiply 12 with 18. Here I will not be suggesting you to multiplying 12 with 18. Instead of that, find out the factors of 12 and 18. I hope by this time you are already aware of how to find factors. So factors for the 12 is 2 times 2 times 3, and factors for 18 is 2 times 3 times 3. Sometimes number of factors are become too many and the sign of a square root becomes small, so you should extend the line. Keep in mind, all numbers should be inside the root only. Now, even after having these different roots here, we shall make pairs between those roots that will help us to know what will come outside. So this is the first pair and this is the second pair. Why we are making only pairs? Why we are not choosing three numbers together? Can you tell? Yes, because there is a order is 2. That's why we need pairs in a 2. That's how I shall have 2 and 3 outside. The rest remaining will stay inside, that is 3 times 2. Now multiply those numbers with each other. 18 times root 6. Box your answer. This column over here you can use for your rough work such as factorizing and other stuff. Let's have next question. I am going to solve second question now. That is 3 root 12 times 7 root 15. Now we will proceed in the very same way. Don't forget to give equal to marks at the beginning. We'll be multiplying with 7 times under root of 12 into 15. Instead of multiplying them, these 12 and 15, we will factorize them. That is 2 times 2 times 3 is the factor for 12, and next is 3 times 5 is a factor for 15. Now take the repetitions outside such as a 2 and 3. Keep the rest inside such as 5. Now multiply the numbers with each other. 6 and 3 to the 6 multiplies to the 21 becomes 126 and root 5 remains as it is. Your box to your final answer. Keep in mind, in final answer your surd should be in a simplest form. Now dear students, let's move towards division of the surds, how to perform division of the surds. To perform division of surds, you must need to know a simple division how to perform, and along with that you need to know few tests. Let's take an example. Say we are dividing root 14 with root 7. Then look out the transformation of the question. Both of them having same order. As in multiplication, we had only that single rule that order should be same while multiplying. That is the very same rule applicable while dividing as well. The orders should be same. If orders are same, then put a common order root, that is square root in this case, divide 14 by 7. That is, radicands will be dividing to each other, but instead of drawing two different roots, you will just draw one single root as a common root. Further steps you know already, that you will simply divide 14 with the 7 inside the root only. Let's take another example. Square root of 1000 divides to the square root of 10. Now you know the steps how to write. We take the common root and we divide radicand with each other. We write the quotient of the division as an answer, and then we will simplify. As I said earlier, never leave your answer in unsimplified form. That means the simplest form for the surds should be always given there. Don't forget to make a box to your final answer in each case. So students, different colors I am using here, and you know, sometimes I like to use purple color. Yeah, and sometimes pink also, sometimes black, sometimes green. But choices of my color do not define that which gender I have. Sometimes we find in our society, if boys start liking pink color, then we discriminate as he is a shy girl. But that is nothing to have to do anything with it. So always keep in mind, do not discriminate on the basis of gender. Now let's have a few examples from practice set 2.3. As I said earlier, I am writing practice set in short as PS. Practice set 2.3. Now let's try question number 8. In that sub question second, do not forget to write proper question and sub question. Now the question is, divide the surds with each other. As given example, root 125 divided by root 50. Then what is our step? Is to take a common root first, then take 125 divided by 50. Before we begin this process, I have checked whether the orders are equal or not. Then let's do the rough calculation. I am going to divide 125 with the 50. As I know table of 5 and I also know the divisibility test of 5, so I can simply apply the divisibility test of 5 here, and these both are divisible by 5. Hence 5 twos are and 5 fives are. Here 5 tens are. Again divisibility test of 5 is applicable, so 5 fives are and 5 twos are. Even if dividing 5 with a 2 can bring us a decimal number, that is 2.5, but here we will just keep it in a p by q form, that is in a fraction form. We won't turn it into decimal form because this looks and useful much better than using decimal form. Let's have another example. Say example number 3. In third example, it is given to us under root of 54 divided by under root of 27. Then now you already knew the steps. You can tell the steps. Yes, correct. Write the common root, then divide the radicands, correct, and then write the answer in simplest form. You know students, if you know the tables, then process of division becomes much faster for you. You can easily do it if you memorizes the table and divisibility tests. Okay, I hope you have understood the concept. Now let's move towards the last part of today's session, that is rationalizing denominator. The word rationalizing is itself expresses its meaning. When I say rationalizing, then I am meant to be turning an irrational number into rational number. So let's rationalize denominator. Why we should do rationalization of the denominator? Because having irrational denominator is become complicated to find, or is not much suitable to find the final solutions, as we don't know where it will terminate and where it will stop, as irrational numbers are non-repeating non-terminating number and cannot be written in a p by q form, so their division do not bring whole complete answer. Let's start with some simple example. I will teach you how to do rationalizing denominator. Say example 1 upon root 2. How do I gonna rationalize it? So think of for a while the root 2. If I wish to transfer root 2 into any closer square number, how can I do that? So to find the answer of this question by rationalizing it, we need to understand first how exactly the process of rationalizing happens. I will come back to this question again. Before that, let's chase some other examples. Now let's have a root 2 itself, which we had earlier, and think of some number with a same order of a surd, which I can multiply to the 2, so that this surd, that is the root, will be removed. Can you come up with some number? Think critically. Yes. The right choice can be many. One of them is root 2 itself. When I multiply root 2 with a root 2, I receive answer 2. Now we all know how does this work. You have learned how to multiply surds, and using that idea and concept you can find the solution. Now let's have one more example, but for root 2 itself. That is not necessary at all. As I said earlier, this is one of many numbers which can be turning root 2 into some rational number. Other example is like we can use the root of 8. If I multiply those two and simplify the answer, then answer will be 4. If you observe the answers here, if you observe the answers which are coming, those are rational numbers. Isn't it? Even if I am using some irrational numbers, that means the product of a irrational number can turn into rational number. We discussed that earlier, right? Here, the numbers which are helping us, as in a multiplication, so that given irrational number can turn, that is given irrational number is root 2. So to convert given irrational number into rational number, the numbers which we use are called rationalizing factor. So rationalizing factors are basically the numbers, the surds, which helps to remove the surd. Remember this, boys and girls all. The rationalizing factors are not unique. As you can see here, in the example here itself, there are two different rationalizing factors, and you can have many more of such kind, so that this root 2, that is a irrational number, shall turn into some rational number. And finding such numbers and multiplying with it is the process which is called as rationalization. That is the process called rationalization. And why we are doing so? Because denominators with rational number is easy to use than the denominator with irrational number such as root 2. So root 2 is an irrational number. Now we are going to change it into some rational number. How are we going to do this so that it will be easy to use? Let's check this out. Before we move ahead, we are going to take our rationalizing factors along with us. So in order to simplify the question from earlier, I will choose such a rationalizing factor So in this case, I can use root 2. If I multiply root 2 with itself, then it will get rationalized and the roots will be ericted, that is removed, will be removed. But we cannot have any rationalizing factor in the way like I have used. So to keep the meaning of the equation of the question as it is, we shall do this in a numerator and denominator both. The rationalizing factor whichever the rationalizing factor you use, make sure that rationalizing factor should be multiplied with a numerator and also should be multiplied with denominator. Now whenever we do such kind of multiplications, we simply multiply numerator with a numerator and denominator with a denominator. We do not follow any concept such like cross multiplication while doing so. Hence, your final answer will be received as 1 times root 2 divided by root 2 times root 2. Let's go to the next page. Hence, I am repeating the step. 1 times root 2. So why I am writing it in a black color? Because I am highlighting it as some rationalizing factor. Again, I have one more. As I said earlier, there should be one in a numerator and there should be the very same one in a denominator every time. It is compulsory, always necessary. And then final answer will be root 2 divided by 2. And now my denominator, if you observe the denominator is now one rational number. And as my denominator turned into a rational number, the process of rationalization of a denominator is completed. This process is much important and quite useful process. Let's have one more example. Say 7 upon root 21. Let's multiply those. Now, sometimes we may find difficulty in finding the rationalizing factor. So, the simplest way, the trick which I am going to give you will help you to do this calculation much faster. Always choose very same surd as your rationalizing factor. So if I don't find any other surd, I will simply use the same surd for rationalizing factor. That would do the work and it will also save your time. Then you know the process. Numerator multiplies to numerator and that's how the denominator do multiply with denominator. Now how to do the multiplication? You can recap the video and check out again if you have forgotten. If not, then you already know the process. How does this work? So my numerator shall be 7 times root 21 now, divided by 21, as square and square root get cancelled. But as we know that in the table of 7 there is a 21, so I can do this simplification. But also keep in mind, my dear students, even if in a one way you can do this because of the only one reason that both of these do not possess the same order. I'm sorry, I spoken completely wrong. They possess the same order. If you check out, even if the 21 is matches with this 21 and you think of cancelling this into turning it into as a 1, you can't do this only of the reason that it has order 2 and it does not have order as a 2. As they are having a different orders, then division is not possible, and that was the basic rule of our division. Division is only possible if there is a same order, and as the order of the 7 and 21 are same, so they can cancel each other. On a simplification, I will write it as 1. I will replace this with a 3. Hence my final answer will be root 21 upon 3. So only rationalizing the denominator is not sufficient. You also need to simplify it if there is a place to do so. Now let's move to the practice set 2.3 and solve few more examples. As I said, even if I like pink colors, that does not mix or should not go in any kind of gender or sex basis discrimination. We should give equal opportunity. We should behave equally with boys and girls always. As I said earlier, for practice set 2.3, I am simply writing it as a PS 2.3. The last question of the exercise, that is rationalize the denominator. It is a question number 9. I am having sub question 4. In sub question 4, the question is 6 divided by 9 root 3. Now, as I said earlier, if you see here, sorry, 3 cannot cancel the 6 because they don't have same order. That is, it having a root, it does not have a root. But as both of these are outside the root, they can cancel out each other. So in the table of 3, I can see 2 3s are 6 and 3 3s are 9, and root 3 remains as it is. Now students, we don't need to have entire denominator as my rationalizing factor, correct? I am going to only choose the part which is as a surd present in a denominator for my rationalizing factor, and in this case that is root 3. Now let's multiply 2 is going to multiply with the numerator of the next fraction, and 3 times root 3 is also going to do the same thing, that is getting multiplied by root 3. As I said earlier, I am repeating the same thing again and again. The multiplication and division is only possible if orders of the radicands are same. Elsewise, there will not be any multiplication or either division. As root 3 times root 3, it will become 3. You can recap the video if you don't understand how to multiply the surds. You will find the solution for this. And hence the final answer will be 2 root 3 upon 9. Don't forget to put the box to your answer. Let's have one more example. That is, I'm going to solve now example number 5. You can help me while solving this. So 11 upon root 3 is the what question is. Yes, what I should do? You can tell what can I do now? Correct. I shall keep my fraction as it is at the beginning. Then I shall choose the surd from the denominator as my rationalizing factor. I shall multiply with my rationalizing factor in a numerator as well as in a denominator. Then I should multiply numerator with a numerator of another fraction and denominator with a denominator of the next fraction. I hope you are understanding why these root 3s are in a different color. They are having just color different, but it does not make that they are completely different. They are having a different color because I am representing them as rationalizing factor there. But that is not going to change anything. That is just simply going to turn our denominator from irrational to rational. And hence your final answer will be 11 root 3 by 3. As there is a no surd available in a denominator anymore, and as the all simplifications whichever was possible we did, now there shall not be any simplification needed hence after this. Keep in mind, don't cancel out these 3's because they are not having same order. Division and multiplication is only possible between the numbers which are having same orders. If you keep that thing in mind, then multiplying with the surds and dividing with the surds will be easy for you. That's it for today. See you next time. Till then, bye bye.
So students, let's have a recap on what we have learned today. Today you have learned operation on surds through this video. You learned the operations on our surds such as multiplication, division, and rationalization. Keep in mind the concept of rationalizing factor, that is also important. Now, to check your understanding of today's learning, let's try answering few questions. Master yourself. To master yourself, you need to keep practicing on the things which you have learnt earlier. You can use this question for mastering the concept. The first question is, multiply 4 times root 13 with negative 4 times root 5. Apply the concepts of the multiplying surds to find this answer. Divide root 125 by root 15. Don't forget to do simplification if it is necessary. And the last one is rationalize 1 over root 11. These all questions are provided in a Google form in a link attached below. Find the Google form link in the description of this video. Click on it and don't forget to submit your answers. Now let's have challenging questions. Challenge yourself When you become master in a subject, then you must challenge your top self in order to become perfect. Try out these three questions. Multiply square root of 44 with negative 3 times root 11 times 5 root 99. Don't forget to simplify. If you simplify it, then you will find the answer easily. Divide 288 under root of 288 with under root of 96. When you will perform this division, you will need to simplify. Don't forget it. Rationalize, and don't forget to simplify this as well. 3 over root 18. Answer of these questions through your Google form, which is the link provided in the Google form below in the video description. Now here we go for homework questions. The remaining questions from the practice set and the questions which I have attended, those remaining questions you are expectedly to be solving, such as from practice set 2.3. The question numbers are listed on the screen, also listed in a Google form. Don't forget to solve them. Okay. From question number 7, third and fourth. Question number 8, first and sixth. From question number 9, first, second and third. Submit the answers of this question to your class teacher and make sure it will get checked. That's it for today. See you next time. Till then, bye.